So let's change the enemy object. I'm going to still leave it called enemy, even though it's not really enemy anymore. It's tasty food that falls from the sky. But we have to figure out a few things. So where do they start when they're spawned? Instead of starting on the right-hand side and flying this way, we got to start at the top and fall down. Okay, we're going to have to adjust how frequently they appear because there's no way you're going to catch all that food. Okay, so that's a difficulty setting that we can tweak later on. And then also, instead of just having one type of thing, we're going to choose a random image out of 4 different possibilities so that we have different kinds of food falling from the sky. It'd be easy to give those different point values too, or different frequencies, but I'm just going to randomly choose an image and keep it kind of simple. So let's take a look at the enemy object. Enemy object, there's the missile. So we know we don't want it to be a missile anymore. We want it to be food. So how did I accomplish this? The easiest way to accomplish this is with a clever naming scheme. And you can't really see it because it's too small, but what I've named these is skate underscore burger, skate underscore drink, skate underscore fries, skate underscore pizza. They all have very similar names. And so all I have to do is create a string that has those names in it using a randomly chosen base string for burger, drink, fries, or pizza. So the easy way to do that is to go li food, and I'm going to create an array. Burger, fries, drink, pizza. Okay, so those are the 4 different possibilities. str food equals random.choice, and I'm going to have it choose randomly from that list of food. So now str food contains one of those 4 strings, and I can put it together. Str file equals, and I'm going to make this an f string, and it's going to be skate underscore, and then str food dot png. So now that generates one of those 4 file names. And then I can take that, make this an f string, and put that file name right here, str file. So now it's going to randomly choose one of those 4 foods. Let's see if it works. Okay, so there we go. There's my food. Very exciting. Now we got some weird artifacts, but those won't show up once we put these on the background. It's not very clean. All right, so there's the food. So far, so good. So next we want to figure out where the food starts. Now, what we had before, again, is we have the screen, and I basically said it's going to be somewhere over here that they're going to start, to the right. But now, what I want them to start somewhere up there instead. So it basically is just flipping this on its head, or on its side, rather, I guess. But the X value is this first line, right? And so what I want on the X value is I want between -10. Actually, I'm doing smallest to largest. So -30 and -10. So somewhere between -30 and -10 on height. Oh, that's the Y value. Silly me. Let's just switch those up real quick. That never happened. It's not going to happen when I edit the video. Didn't exist. Okay, so now that we have the X value, the Y value in place, we'll do the X value. And kind of what I want is I kind of want the food to fall in this kind of zone. I don't really want it right on the edges. So I'm going to go between like 10, not 20, and screen width -20 is kind of my happy zone. So we'll go 20, and we'll go screen width -20. That gives me 20 pixels in from either side to make sure that the food doesn't do anything. Now I could test this, but we would never see any food because they would be spawning here and flying to the left, off into infinity. So rather than that, what we need to do is, and we want to set that random integer between slow and fast, not the static number. So we're going to use the score here. And how does it move? Well, this is where it moves right here. Okay, so negative self.speed in the x tells it to go to the left. We don't want it to go left and right. We want it to go down. And down is positive and a positive integer. So it's just 0 comma self.speed. So if we test that now, there it is. Now there's no way I'm going to be able to catch all that food no matter how fast I skate. So we're going to have to do some adjusting in a little bit. But let's stick to the game mechanics for now. And let's do our checklist. Okay, so where do they start? How do they move? We got the random image. Well, I guess we'll reduce the frequency since we're here on this subject. The frequency doesn't happen in the object itself. The frequency happens right here in the add enemy event. Now, right now, I have that happening every 250 milliseconds, which is 4 times a second. So there's 4 foods per second that appear. Too many. I'm going to go to 750. So every 2 seconds, there will be 3. So about 3/4 of a second each time. Let's see if that works. So we've got that. Now, nothing happens when I catch these, but I can sort of play test it. Still going to be very challenging, obviously. Oh, and I just lost. So maybe still too challenging, but we'll just give it a minute and see. Might be a case for making this number variable based on the score also, where the food comes more frequently later in the game. Not right now, though. We won't worry about that. So let's go back and see. Now we've got the enemy object taken care of.